just as easily be you sitting here in these chains.
Sometimes I envy the finality of death, the certainty. And I have to drive those thoughts away when I'm weak.
Understand this. When we lay our heads down out here, we're all prisoners.
Everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you had a great weekend. It's raining where I am, and I thought this was a great time to go ahead and review the movie I watched this weekend, which is Hostels. Right now, all my Adobe Creative Studios are updating, so I thought this would be perfect because this is going to take forever. So I went to go see Hostels earlier today, and it was actually a very interesting movie. I went in judging from what I saw on the poster, where it was Christian Bale, Rosamund Pike, which, by the way, I met her at the airport. That was surreal, because I stared at her for the longest time. Was like, that lady looks so much like Rosamund Pike, the crazy girl from Gone Girl. And when I just had the moment, I was just like, ma'am, did anybody ever tell you you look like Rosamund Pike? And she's like, that's me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You guys stared so long. And she was very sweet. She was very nice. So she was on my flight when I got back to the States to come visit. So that was a very surreal moment. It was just like, oh, so many stars just take flights just like we do and wait for their luggage just like we do. No special treatment. So that was really interesting. And of course, with the poster, I just assumed that, oh, they have an Indian friend in here. And I'm so sorry, his name is just fleeting, and I will remember by the end of this video what his name is, because I've seen him in many other films. But he was on the poster as well, and it just made me think, oh, okay, well then these two are Western people, and they have an Indian friend, and now they got to deal with hostile people on both sides, both hostile Native Americans and both hostile settlers and frontier. So I was going into this thinking it was one of those types of westerns, and I was kind of right. In a way, Christian Bale's character did have to deal with hostiles on both sides. But the interesting thing about this is he didn't start out friends with pretty much anybody other than his commanding officers and his fellow soldiers. He hated Native Americans, just hated them. Downright to just calling them bastards and calling the women bitches. And he just did not care. He took it from a standpoint as in they were just cruel and savage during war, and he just didn't like them. Where me, the whole time I was thinking, but wouldn't they think the same thing about you, that you were just cruel and savage during times of war, where both of you were fighting for maybe the same thing, where y'all were just trying to protect your own. And they felt like you were invading on their land, which you were. History proves it. Just everybody get through that. Just know it now. If you don't know it, how do you not? But yes. So the Native Americans are mad you're intruding on their land. You're trying to take over like you were there first, and it wasn't the case. And you are mad that they're just defending themselves. Now I'm not saying not all Native American tribes were just there to defend themselves and had to do what they needed to make sure they were safe. There were also tribes, and you see in this movie, that are hostile toward all Native American tribes and against the settlers too. They took no prisoners, and they took what they could. Now, what made it interesting about the hostile Native Americans, that hated that would kill no regardless, was that they had guns, which made me even more think that there's business with anyone regardless of what side you're on. There's a saying that goes, there's no money in peace, and that's how it works. There's no money in peace, and you can find money from anyone who's willing to buy your product. So they had weapons, they had guns, they used bow and arrows like you would think they or assume they did, but they also had guns. And that made it interesting because it just made me think someone had to sell them those. Either that or they made them themselves. But that was really interesting to see and to explore within my own mind because the movie didn't really hint on it. Now, the movie is a typical I hate you, you hate me, but I've got to help you type of movie. And of course, Rosamund Pike's character, she comes in because she has a tragic backstory, and we get hit with that backstory right at the beginning. So you understand her hostility for a little while, but she grows and she understands and she starts to move on a little bit more. And that's what happens. All these three main characters, they grow and start to learn from each other and start to respect each other. And it's typical of what I thought this movie, what I found it to be, when it's just three people at different walks of life coming together to deal with the hostilities from both sides. And that's the one thing I loved about this movie, is that they explored the fact that there were hostile people on both sides. And sometimes it wasn't even the soldiers versus the Native Americans. Sometimes it was just landowners that were hostile. Sometimes it was people who were trying to make money trading fur or anything like that were hostile. And they didn't care who they hurt or kidnapped, raped, or pillaged. So that was very interesting to explore. And that's what I liked about this movie. Now, what I didn't like about this movie is that it seemed forced how eventually Christian Bale's character came to respect all people. Maybe not forced is the word I'm looking for, but it seemed too quick because I didn't get much more backstory. Now, I understand him starting to respect the Native American characters because they fought to keep their family safe just as much as he fought as a duty to get them to safe passage, pretty much. But I didn't see where I respect you so much that you are a part of me, I'm a part of you, kind of develop and play out. And there were, again, the movie's called Hostiles, and that's what they show. They show Native Americans that are hostile towards everybody, including other Native Americans. They show soldiers who were hostile to Native Americans because of pure just hatred. Not that it was their job. And they were soldiers, and this was in New Mexico, so it was pretty much damn near the Alamo at a point in time. And then there were more settlers who were just hostile towards even not just the Native Americans, but the soldiers too, because they feel like maybe sometimes a soldier would infringe on their property as well. So it's just really interesting how it explores the title Hostiles and how it shows that there is everyone in each culture, each ethnicity, each nationality that has hostile people. And we just need to be able to accept everybody. And that's what this small group started to do. Start to accept everyone that was around them. So I don't really have a scoring system yet, which kind of sucks. I wish I did. And West Study is the Native American's character. I see him all the time. Usually it's sometimes with long hair. He has this perfect frown. That's amazing to me. But, no, excuse me. The perfect frown I ever saw was the Panthers co-owner that's being like pushed out and everybody's trying to get his spot. He looks like the Burgermeister from when Santa Claus is coming to town. The animation, the clay animation. That's a perfect frown. But anyway, West Study, he also has a perfect frown, in my opinion. But I don't have a grading system yet for these movies, but this one is a go see it. It's not like, oh, rush out to the movie theater. You need to see this right now. If you enjoy westerns, it's a western. It's a good western for you. If you enjoy just exploring those times, the late 1800s, after the Civil War, where people were moving out west, it's a good movie to see that too. But it's not I need to go see this movie right now. It's important, but it's a good movie. I suggest you go see it. Maybe rent it at a Netflix night, but it's really good. If you decide to see it, I hope you enjoy it. Now, the one thing I did want to mention before I end this review, all westerns, and I was discussing this with the person I went to the movie with, all westerns, when they have shootouts, one of the horses gets shot. Like, and at the end of the credits, it always says, no horses were harmed in the filming of this movie, or no animals were harmed, blah, 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 blah. But no horses were shot. It's like when the shooting happened, the horses are like, you know what? We're going to be behind the trees. When you're ready, we got your stuff, and then we can go. Like, we'll be good to go. But it looks like the horses just went out of the way. But I remember seeing everywhere somewhere a horse got shot, an arrow got put in their butt, when someone fell off of the horse, like, went over too. But none of that. Like, no horses in peril this entire movie, which was really interesting. I'm not saying I would like to see horses in peril. I'm just saying that's the first time I haven't seen a horse in peril. So, besides that little side note, again, go see Hostels whenever you get a chance. I hope you had a great weekend, and I hope you like this video. And if you do, please like, share, and subscribe. Please check out my other video where Anonymous decided to hack me and review Den of Thieves, which I'm kind of mad I didn't see now. But again, I know why he likes Inside Man. So if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I hope that you keep dreaming.